Hello, welcome to Campus Ministry Connection. I'm Tom Pryor. I'm the campus minister for Milliken's Newman community in Decatur, Illinois. Today I'm joined by a very exciting guest. She's a student at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, belonging to the Catholic campus ministry there. And her name is Madelyn Brunvand. And Madelyn, in today's podcast, we're going to talk about a variety of things, such as the importance of having a liaison between the campus ministry and the university. We'll also discuss the importance of having Catholic friends, maybe testimonials from former students. But before we get to any of that, I want to go back a couple of years. You're a third-year student graduating early. Let's go to your freshman year to find out what got you interested in campus ministry. Because as a campus minister, when we look at every freshman, we hope they turn out like you, as someone who's very involved by the time they leave. But that's a trajectory that starts from the first time you get on campus. What was it for you?
Absolutely. So our student parish is called St. Mary, and I attended St. Mary the first Sunday I moved onto campus. Grew up Catholic, and so I knew that I wanted to be attending that parish. And I think right away I just felt at home there. A full parish, very vibrant community, and wonderful priests. And so I was really excited about what the parish was doing. And then a few days later, we have an event every year at the university where all the student organizations can come and kind of advertise, and students can check out different options. And St. Mary was there, had representatives from students advertising our annual root beer pong tournament. And so it was really just cool to see these students who were so excited about campus ministry, who were taking time out of their day to talk to new students. And I've talked to so many people in the past few years who have said that event is what got them to St. Mary and involved in campus ministry, because they saw older students who were so fired up about their faith. I think that's something a lot of us coming into college hadn't seen before, that excitement by young people about being Catholic and living a life for Jesus. And so that was really what drew me in. And then it was, these really fun events that they put on that allow students to just gather and spend time together. So yeah, that was kind of what got me started.
Community is so important for really any organization on campus, especially a campus ministry. Before getting to campus, you mentioned to me that you hadn't really had a lot of Christian friends or a lot of Catholic friends that you could form relationships with earlier in your life. And now that changed when you got to the University of Michigan. How were those relationships different than ones you've had in the past? And what were so attractive about them that you said, hey, I want to keep kind of going in these relationships and seeing where it takes me?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's just an opportunity to bring Jesus into your everyday life. Topics about our faith just come up naturally in conversation. And I think that is so beneficial to kind of, they say pray constantly. And that is a lot easier when you're with friends who are modeling, God's love for you in your day-to-day life. And I just think, we all have this shared hope, this shared faith, and this understanding that if things are tough, they will get better, and that we're not alone in that. And I just think, especially with COVID and all these different things that are going on in our world, we need that light and that hope. And having friends who believe those same things is so encouraging, and just being able to lean on one another has been so beneficial for me.
I talk about that at Milliken University for our Newman community. I tell some of the students, how often do you bring up faith in everyday conversations, at the dining hall, in your dorm, at practice? Do you have those friends where you can talk about faith and not feel like you're in a minority or it's something you can't bring up to other people, right? I think you're really hitting on an important topic of having people with which you can share your faith and discuss things like that. Let's take it a little bit to the importance of testimonials. Whenever we get to campus, there are really about maybe kind of 4 years of students there, and that's all you really know. As a freshman, you can come on and you think, wow, there's the senior class, and I look up to them. But even going further than that, the campus ministry could always invite students, past students, back to say, here's how I was involved, and then look what I'm doing in my life now. You're going into a Master of Social Work program. You're going to be using your faith and your care for others in your career. Talk about the importance of bringing a testimony to campus. Have you done that for your campus ministry at the University of Michigan?
Absolutely. Yeah, we do have a lot of opportunities for students to hear from, not only from older students, but from those who have graduated. Pre-COVID, we had this great weekly event called Ignite, where um, over 100 students would gather in our Newman Center for dinner and a speaker, and that was a great way to hear different testimonies and have conversation about it. And I think a couple of things that are really important about that. One, for the people that have graduated, seeing that you can continue this after college. It kind of feels like this really college centered thing. You're so focused on however long you're going to be at the university, and that you have this strong Catholic community around you. It can be a little scary to think, when I leave, what is that going to be like? But then you get these testimonies of people who find these different communities all over the place, and it's not just here; it's everywhere. And then for older students who are still at the university, I just think it's so important to kind of break the mold of the traditional college experience that we get from movies and different kinds of media. I came to college knowing I don't want to be drinking and partying. I just have no interest in that. But you just hear this narrative that that's what everybody does, and that's the only option. And the truth is, it's not what everyone does. There's so many other options. And so to hear from people who have had really great experiences in college, but kind of gone down a different path, is so encouraging. And it really helps you to keep that up when it can be really easy to think, okay, maybe I would feel more accepted. Maybe I would feel more belonging if I tried some of this stuff that really kind of goes against what I want to be doing. But it's just so nice to see, oh, that worked for these people, and that they were able to really still enjoy their college experience.
It just helps us as students feel more connected, not only to the ministry, but just to our life of faith, right? We talk about the church being worldwide, and it's a community, right? And I think that's what you can experience at a campus ministry when you have all these different students, plus those who have graduated, come back and share that. So I certainly advise all campus ministries out there, find some of those students who have gone on to be involved in the church in some capacity, or have a profession in which they're giving back that maybe was motivated by their time in campus ministry, and to come share that on campus. That is a great idea. And I like that idea of Ignite, right? It ignites our faith. It makes us draw deeper into a relationship with Christ. Along those same lines, you're in charge of outreach this year. You're the president of the Catholic campus community, which, you sign up to be a president, or maybe you're elected in your case, and you imagine, oh, campus ministry is going to be how it was in the past. Then COVID hits, and now you're a president of an organization, and you don't really know where to go with it. And especially in terms of outreach, what have you been doing this past year to get students involved when there's not much going on campus?
Right. I know my title is Outreach and Event Planning Intern, and I like to say that and then just kind of pause and wait for people to realize that I'm trying to do that during COVID. Yeah, because I think often for outreach, my initial reaction is have free stuff, especially food. That's going to get, and it does. I mean, I mentioned Ignite, our weekly dinners, that brings people in. But yeah, that is not that easy. And I think, so last semester, it was definitely, we have a group of student interns, about 10 of us, that work in various parts of ministry in our parish. And we started the year thinking, okay, this is a way to be innovative. It's time to be creative. This is great. And then we kind of found ourselves just trying to shove into the boxes of what the past interns have done, adapting it a bit for COVID, but really just kind of sticking our heels into the ground and saying, no, I just want to do what we've always done, which just doesn't work. And so we've started planning for this semester and thinking about how can we really just think about what students we're catering to right now. Our campus minister said, think about what's mission critical. What do we need to do right now? Typically, our outreach looks like drawing in new people, getting those new freshmen in, getting the word out to people, kind of just casting our net really wide. Well, this year, at this point, we don't have freshmen in the dorms anymore because we're fully online. So we're not really getting those new students. So we've had to think, okay, let's focus on the students that we have. Let's focus on this community that we already have and really grow that and build it and minister to those people so that we can, in the future, be able to reach out more. And so we have formed new small space sharing groups that allow students to meet once a week with people and just go deeper in our faith. It's really good to have those big events that are kind of, a game night or a scavenger hunt that bring people in. But then you want to also then, okay, how do we share our faith together? We are a Catholic community. How do we go deeper with one another? And so we're trying to be really intentional. Mini retreats has been kind of something we're really excited about. Instead of saying, okay, sign up for this whole weekend or this whole day, how about 2 hours on this Saturday to hear a couple speakers and have a small group discussion? I think that works really nicely. Also, competition with a game night or something like that gets people really excited. Prizes. We have great, especially being in Ann Arbor, we have great businesses who will, offer gift cards for different events that we have. And so prizes and competition, getting people, pitted against each other, that it really gets people excited. And so I think when you have those initial things that bring people in, then you can kind of go deeper and say, okay, now how about we start sharing our faith in those sorts of things?
I love that. The game nights. We had a game night here for our university's Newman community last week. We played Kahoot. It was a Bible Kahoot, and we were all joining together. And that competition comes out, and that talking about faith, sharing about our faith while doing that is so important. I love that you brought up the point of outreach being so focused on finding new students. And I think as campus ministry, sometimes we get caught up too much in trying to reach out to the students who are out there who don't know about us. What can we do to get more students and more students? And then before you know it, some of the students who have been involved are trickling away because their faith isn't growing. You're not focused on them. And I think we can get stuck in the weeds sometimes as campus ministries and not focusing on the students we already have and making sure they grow together in community. And I think that's what's happening. You're exactly right. This year, it's difficult to do outreach. I mean, it's been troublesome on my campus. It's hard to find students. So instead, we've turned inward a little bit and focused on, okay, here are the students who already know about us. What can we do to deepen their relationship with each other, with Christ? And then once we hit kind of hopefully a time soon when there's more of those large scale events and more outreach opportunities, that they'll be eager to go out and be those intentional disciples we're trying to create. I want to talk now about a role that you have that's very important. It's the role between being a liaison between the university and your campus ministry. Because when we talk about outreach, if you're not involved with the university in some capacity, you're really kind of ostracizing yourself from the rest of campus as a campus ministry. You're not involved in anything that the university is doing. So how important is it to have that relationship between the ministry and the university? And what does it look like? Are you involved in meetings, on email chains? What do you do?
Yeah, it's incredibly important to be involved at the university. So for me personally, a lot of it is logistics. So in a normal year, this would be signing us up for events that students are coming to that, showcase all these different student organizations. Tomorrow night, we have an online version of that. So we'll see how that works virtually. But a lot of advertising and opportunities to be at events. Say we're going to have a table or a sign or whatever at this event, putting signs up around campus that the university runs so that we can get our name out there, so that people will see us and recognize us. So that's really helpful and really important. And we do have, I know, other parish leaders, people who are on staff, some of our priests are also in contact with interfaith groups on campus and things like that help us, again, get involved and make sure that people are knowing what's going on, which is definitely very helpful, just so that students know that we're an option, because it can be hard to find that sometimes. So just trying to make our programs really accessible to students.
You're right in the point of if the university knows what you do as a campus ministry, then the university can help some of those students who reach out to them and say, hey, we do have this Catholic community on campus. Or maybe they're leading prospective students around campus and they can say, oh yeah, we do have a Catholic community here. But they wouldn't know about that had you not reached out. I think there's two different ways campus ministries operate in terms of this liaison with the university. One, if you're a diocesan school, studied undergrad and graduate school at a diocesan Catholic university, in which everything the university did, they would bounce off our campus ministry department, invite us to be a part of it. Now we have a Newman community on a campus that's private but non-denominational. So it's more of me reaching out and asking to be involved rather than them coming to us and asking us. What advice would you give to some campus ministers aren't out there who are at Newman communities, at universities like you, where the university may not be reaching out to you? Are there certain people you need to contact? What do you do?
Mm.
How do you start?
Sure. So for us, the kind of main thing is making sure that we have a designation as a student organization. And I'm sure this is different for every school, but so we have St. Mary's Student Parish, which is our parish where our students attend. And we also have resident parishioners. We have people, real adults, as I call them, that live in and around Ann Arbor that attend St. Mary's every week. But then we have the Catholic campus community, which is our student organization, which means we are like another club, like any club or sport organization you would have around campus. So that gets us on the email list for advertisements, for events that students are going to be going to. And so that involved us writing up a constitution of, are there dues that students have to pay? What kind of involvement is this for students? Do you allow all students, or are there restrictions? So having someone at your parish or your Newman Center who is heading that up, working especially with adults, but then also student leaders are really helpful to contribute to that, but making sure that whatever, documentation you need and things like that, so that you can get that status as a student organization or whatever that equivalent would be at your university, is just really helpful, because then you are just like any other club. Then you're in that, regardless of you are a religious organization, you are just like anybody else at the university. And so then you're gonna be reached out for those opportunities.
Madeline, that relationship is so important. I think you hit the nail on the head with kind of getting those relationships going and having the university know about you, having you know about the university. Sometimes when you look at a university, director of campus life is important to get in touch with, maybe a residence life, to find out all these people and have relationships with them. I know now we can't meet with them, but if you can try over Zoom just to have a meeting, introduce yourself if you're a campus minister, maybe a student such as yourself, just so they know you exist and that you are interested in being part of the university. At Millikan, a couple years ago, they did a kind of this canned food drive on campus, and they wanted to get a lot of the student organizations involved in that. So when we reached out and said we would be interested in doing it, all of a sudden we were on their email list, right?
Mm.
They knew we were interested in helping them, so they would reach out to us. I think that's very important. What has it been, Madelyn, as you look now into your future? You're about ready to graduate. When you look back over your time at the University of Michigan, what has kept you involved in campus ministry, especially during COVID? A year ago from today, you could have fallen off the face of the earth in terms of campus ministry and just hid in your room. Why did you stay engaged?
Sure. I think a lot of it is, this is where I found my friends. This is really where I found my community when I came to college. And something for me, freshman year was rough. It was really difficult, and that's something people don't really talk about. I don't think not enough, is that it took time to find friends and make meaningful connections. And so I know what that's like, and I just have such a passion for reaching out to freshmen and people who are experiencing that now and trying to help them get connected. And so that is just something for me, kind of knowing that I had that positive experience of going on retreat and getting close with these people who I can relate to. I know that that's possible, and I know what a positive impact that can make in someone's life. And so I just feel so called to be able to do that for other people, and to be able to kind of continue that legacy of our campus ministry. And we at St. Mary, we have this awesome intern program that I'm a part of now. We have about 10 interns every year. It's been going on for a few years now, and just has this reputation of kind of, these are the student leaders, these are the people running campus ministry. And you just know as a student that students do have a voice in campus ministry, and that our campus ministers and our priests are listening to us and taking our input. And so that kind of, from when I started at St. Mary's, I knew I wanted to be an intern. I knew I wanted to be one of those students. I'm a natural leader. I love being in front of people and that sort of thing. And so I knew that I just wanted to be a part of structuring these programs and helping with this ministry. And so I just think it's all down to the students that I saw go before me, who were so welcoming, that I just wanted to be able to continue that for other people.
Madeline, as we wrap up this episode, I want to do it where we began. We started off by saying that campus ministry is so influential on people once they leave the university and they go on in their career. And that's why it's so important to have those testimonials. I want to focus now on you. You're looking ahead to a Master of Social Work program. How influential was campus ministry in your decision for a career, for going into social work? Did it play any part? And if it did, what part did it play?
I think definitely, yeah. I was thinking recently about kind of my mission in life and what am I here to do? And often, college is that time to figure out what am I doing next? Where am I going next? And usually that is what career am I and what career path am I taking? But I was also trying to think about what is that my greater call, my greater mission, and just thinking about how I know that I am just called to care for others and personally, and I think we all are. I think we all are. But I know that with the specific kind of gifts and traits that I have, that I am called to care for others. And so I see social work as my opportunity for that. But I just think that campus ministry has given me that space to talk to other people and reflect. So many opportunities for reflection on kind of how I've grown and changed and seeing the trajectory of my life. And it's just given me such an opportunity to grow in my faith. I think, I grew up, we went to mass every Sunday and that was about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I look forward every week to adoration, going to mass multiple times a week, all these sorts of things, receiving the sacraments as often as I can. And so I think that just, it sets you up so well to be more open to what God is saying and being able to have that community of people to discuss that and say, this is where I'm feeling called. Like, what do you think of that? Do you think does that seem right to you? Does that make sense for who you know me to be? And so it's been incredibly influential and just such a positive experience in my kind of discernment process and just my whole path throughout college. And I know that it will continue afterwards.
Madelyn, thanks for your encouraging words. It certainly seems that you're on the right path, and we wish you all the best as you go forward into that Masters of Social Work program and further into your career. You've kept the faith and you're sharing the faith, and I commend you for doing that. Again, your words very encouraging for me to hear as a campus minister, and for all of us campus ministers listening, about how we can make sure our students stay engaged. They can find that Catholic community. They can hear testimonies from former students, and especially how we can be that liaison between the university and the ministry so that we can work in concert with each other rather than against each other. Madelyn, thank you for joining us on Campus Ministry Connection. I'm Tom Pryor, your host. Until next time, thanks for joining us.